G'day team. I haven't got a whole I haven't got a whole bunch of time today, but we do have a pretty fun thing. I've been out in the shed with my daughter this morning and I've invented something completely new. So, excuse me, I've called it the Cooper brush. And basically it's a hatchet style brush that goes off on a angle. Now, I want to try this because a lot of the time when I get close to the canvas, everything gets pegged up quite annoyingly close and there's no grace in a brush stroke like this. But I get the feeling this might open up my ability to a couple of new angles, a couple of new styles, and we'll see if it works. Pretty crude at the moment. Basically, I just cut the top off a hammer and cut the top off one of my brushes and then screwed it together. It's a prototype and yeah, Cooper brush. So prototype, if it works, fantastic. If it doesn't, well, no harm, no foul. But if it does work, we may be coming up with something pretty new, pretty different and pretty fun. It kind of has that intensity to the strokes rather than, how do I explain it? With this here, when you go straight down, it might be more effective than having to adjust your hand the whole way down. Could work, might not work, let's find out. Shouldn't breathe life into that, it's gonna work. Okay, to make today fun though, if you saw the title, Imagine All the People, I've been hanging out for a portrait for a while and I did a painting class not too long ago, maybe a week. And in that painting class, we actually tried to do the portrait of John Lennon. So I thought, well, here's my turn to have a crack. Let's have some fun with our brush. Let's do John Lennon and let's see what happens. Now today for this brush, a little bit different. I'm going back, baby. We're back on our acrylics. A bit of golden acrylic with a bit of Liquitex. If I can get the lid off. And you'll have to excuse, guys, because it's a quick fire session, I've got paint all over me. This is my messy clothes. Not every shirt I've got is a perfect pristine surface, so that's all right. Here we go. Get all of that in there. Beautiful. Away with you. Now, first coat of color. I'm gonna get a little bit of this. This is what I want. Yeah. Oh, not at all. You did not miss the start. Your battery died last night though. That's annoying. I can sympathize. That happens to me all the time. It's entirely my fault, so it's self-inflicted because I always forget to plug my phone in. You know how you know you need your phone first thing in the morning, but you don't have the energy at night to plug it in, so you constantly work your way into the self-fulfilling prophecy of not having a charged phone in the morning. It's on about 5%, and the moment you open it up to check your notifications, it says to you, warning, 5%, please charge me. Who feels seen right now? Okay, here we go. Now, let's see what we can do here with this pretty fun picture. One of the challenges with a canvas like this is it's actually a little bit longer. It's taller. And because it's taller, the typical thing that happens, taller canvas, is sometimes you can change the composition a little bit. We don't want to actually alter the composition of the work, but we do need to navigate the fact that yes, it's a little bit longer. When you're dealing with a longer canvas, you need to adjust your method. Squares, always easy compositionally, they always seem to work, but if you're doing them more rectangular, more longer, you do run into some quite unique issues. Here we go. Alrighty tardy. Ooh, hello sun. Here comes the sun, pretty darling. Here comes the sun, and I'll say Do 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 do. Beautiful. So, just like in the painting class I was teaching the other day, I was telling everyone, don't see the face, don't see a face, don't see a nose, don't see mouths, don't see eyes, you'll ruin it. But if you just see the shapes, the shadows, the elements that make up what you actually see with the retinas, your cones and rods, what's actually been picked up, then you've got a chance of actually creating the face. So in these few messy strokes, you might, if you've got a weird, chaotic, unhinged brain like mine, you might start to see John Lennon. And if you can't, don't worry, that makes you sane. Sounds boring, but that's where you're at. Here we go. Next color off the ranks, we're going to go into Yellow Deep. Now, I don't know why I've been fantasizing or leaping on more yellow these days. Hey, Max's dad, welcome on in. Greg, good to see you in here. Greg, we're working with a new little hatchet tool. Very, very strange tool, but with a bit of luck, it might create some pretty fun effects. We're not here for a long time. I've actually got to be somewhere in the very, very near future, but I was just too tempted to come try out this tool. You love Max's oh, thank you very much, Greg. That's very exciting. Hey, if you get a second, and totally okay either way, I would absolutely love to see all three in a line. But look, I know that's, if they're hanging in different spots, I know that's going to be annoying. So I don't mind if it never happens, but it'd be pretty special. I'd love to see it. And we also need to have a chat because it's been now that it's arrived, I just love to have a conversation face to face, hear how you feel. And it's been a while since we did. So I'll send you a new meeting link, or better still, if you want to, just if you've still got it somewhere, that previous meeting link I gave you, that'll still work. So would love to have a chat. Life gets busy. Yes. Now it's time for a line of all three. But I love the plan. Hold fire for now though. Hold fire for now. Just enjoy the three, and when you've had time to really enjoy the full set and you're like, right, now I'm ready. We've already got the photo there too, don't we? Because we had that one we were looking at. That three, the shot of all three together is just Kira, Max, and Cassie all in a line, all together on a table. It was perfect. It was, when I saw that, I almost wanted to cut the shot of Max out of it to paint his portrait, but actually, when I saw that one, I thought, it is the perfect three dog shot, unless you've had another one pop up, but that one was absolute fire. Mr. Sinister, welcome on back. I haven't seen you for a little bit, Mr. Sinister. Good to have you back in the room. So, point of today's live though, is I just wanted to come on here and play with this new brush. This silly brush. First instinct, I like it. I really like it. What it does need though, to be a proper hatchet brush, is I need to actually have this, rather than being a circular form, it needs to be a line. And so that way I can do more direct cut strokes on the artwork. But I do feel like this has got legs for my style. And even if it was just me, the ability to stand in front of it and hold your arm direct rather than sort of proning it out, this is better. This is better for accuracy. Now, not everyone paints the same. Not everyone paints the same. Everyone paints differently. And so one person might say this is the stupidest thing they've ever heard of. But I've been Googling a device like this for literal years now, ever since we were doing the Thinker and Venus on the beach. Venus? Venus and the Thinker on the beach. And I was using those curved brushes and trying to paint with them. I've always been Googling and keeping my eye out for where can I get these from. And I think, guys, the end case is going to be, I just have to make it myself. We'll buy brushes and just turn them into this. I want hatchets. That's the plan. Imagine all the people. No detail today, guys. No detail. This is the smallest brush we're going to. We might come back with another hatchet brush and get those final lines, but for today, this is as fine as we're going. Literally 1.5 inches across. It's as small as this picture will get on the up close. And I love that. I'm gonna move you guys back a little bit though. Don't get motion sickness. You all right? You guys okay? There we go. I'm gonna put you there. I'm gonna rotate that a little bit. And the other change too is, guys, sometimes I put my back out, my neck, I'm just twisting a whole lot all the time, left and right. And so I thought, what if I do a little bit of a change? And you may have noticed it if you're a regular. I've actually put the reference picture that I use literally beside you guys. And so that way I can actually catch the comments and talk to you guys, because while I'm looking forward, I'm looking at the reference shot. Love that. It used to be right here. And I was watching a live the other day. It's always sometimes pop through the lives and wonder how to improve it. Is sometimes I just stand here and I'm like, this isn't a great viewing experience for people, because I look like I'm talking to someone arbitrarily out there in the distance, when actually this is good. This is a conversation. And I hate scrolling back up through the comments, because someone might ask a question and then wait a significant amount of time, and that's not very fair. Anyway, Steve, welcome in. Steve, you know how I always catch your comments? On one hand, it's the wild beside your name, but actually what really helps me capture your comments is the emojis. They're surprisingly useful. Big fan. Now, the interesting question we're dealing with here is, when we come in with red, where are we going to put it? What's it going to do? And how are we going to make it do that? These are all the questions. Who's that lovely individual? Emery's. Welcome in, Emery's. Now, guys, if you're as crazy as I am, and you do have to be a little bit crazy, then you might start to see. I mean, we're probably all fresh here now. If you know what the answer is, please don't say. But if you can see it, yell it out. And if you read the title, you may have got a slight clue. I've been absolutely loving the primary colours as of late, so you'll probably see that coming out in the work a wee bit. And if I get excited, which I inevitably will, we'll probably grab one of my smaller makeup brushes and just add in a few little fine bits of detail. You there, sir. Who is that? Warlords. HZ Warlords. You're 100% correct. It's John Lennon. And it takes a little bit of an artist's eye, because this is quite abstract and quite crazy. But it needs to be that way. Just enough so you can see the picture. But if you go too deep into realism, I can't sit beside this and have a coffee. If I'm sitting here nibbling on a coffee and John Lennon's just staring down at me, it can't be done. Love the question. Okay, is primary colors RGB? They are on a computer. So if you're mixing colors on a computer, they work off red, green, blue. Basically, there's additive and reductive color palettes. And you've also got CMYK for light. Now, for pigments, which is pigments in reality, which literally means colored particles that you mix together literally as physical pastes, your primary colors are yellow, blue, red. Now, that's not how a computer works, that's not how light works, that's how pigments work. So when an artist says primary colors, it's a little bit different. Yellow doesn't really feature in the computer ones as much, unless you're working on CMYK. CMYK is printing. I forget. I'm a pigment guy. Steve Jobs or a minion? No, I'm a Kiwi. Yeah, New Zealander, but I don't often wear yellow because I don't like the association with a minion if I can help it. People might start actually mistaking me for a minion because I am quite short, so that could be the reality we live in. Be like, wait, Seb, yeah, I've caught his live stream. The guy who kind of looks like a minion, he wears those big yellow shirts. It's too risky, guys. We can't be doing that. Right, final color of the spectrum here is going to be our reds. Now, our reds are going to go in a whole bunch of similar places as the blues, but the blues were deeper. They were ultramarine. And ultramarine is closer to your dark grays, so you can see we've used it in the blacker areas. With red, I kind of want to grab a smaller brush, but I said I was going to commit to this one. We might be naughty and spread. Yellow, red, blue. YBR. Got it. I learned something new today. Thank you. Hey, you're welcome. The reason why these are the primary colors in painting is because if you put them on a color chart, and I'll show you my big messy palette here. Okay, I haven't used the red yet, but see how it's a dot of red? You got a dot of red, the yellow, and the blue. Now, if I mix the blue with the red, blue with red makes purple. If I mix the yellow with the red, it's more of a Venetian orange, but it's okay. You'll get orange. If I mix the yellow with the blue, you'll get, green. Now, the fascinating thing about the color wheel is complementary colors. So colors that go well together are on opposite sides of the color wheel. What do you get when you mix yellow with blue? Green. What's on the opposite side? Red. Green and red. Colors of Christmas. They complement each other. And then, say for blue on the opposite side, orange. Blue and orange. Yellow on the opposite side, purple. Yellow and purple. And what you might start to notice is that these complementary colors that go well together actually appear a lot in things like sports teams and logos. They'll pair the colors up. Lots of sports teams. I think it's the Lakers or the Oilers in America. They're purple and yellow. Great example. They'll pair these colors up because they're complementary, they stand out, and people love them. It's going to be a little bit naughty. I've got a smaller brush here. I said I wasn't going to, but please let me. Here we go. So we're just going to get the smaller brush. This is actually, one thing I like to use is makeup brushes. They're just softer and nice. Yeah, once I tell you about those complementary colors, you'll start spotting them all over the show. You won't be able to help yourself, which is a great way to be. Complementary colors are a beautiful, beautiful thing. But personally, I'm not such a fan. I like to pair up things like, I like the colors beside each other. I like blue with purple, so just literally neighbors. Yellow with orange. And I like the kind of balance but absurdity in just using the primaries. Here, these colors couldn't be further apart with their three tones, the opposite sides of the color wheel. But you know what's beautiful about it? There's this weird feeling of balance. The human eye sees balance in those three pigments. We're weird, guys. We're really, really weird. It's weird to be human because we see patterns and we see balance. There's inherent chaos. And kinda, that's the only thing that's beautiful about art. The fact that from Nimbus, not Nimbus, it's a nebulous subject matter. And nebulous subject matter, we had an effect called pareidolia. And pareidolia means that from nebulous means sort of airy, fairy, hazy, wavy, not really anything. And then pareidolia means finding facts or finding actual features and things where there aren't actually any, like looking at clouds and seeing dogs, or looking at clouds and seeing faces. The most common form of pareidolia is looking at a surface and seeing a face. There is not enough information on this sheet here for a computer to think it's a face, yet we see a face. What's interesting around that is that's the effect of pareidolia. That's the human instinct to see a face, where actually, according to a robot with a culmination of human intelligence, there actually isn't a face. We just want to see one. And that's really, really cool, because that means you're experiencing something in that pareidolia, in that finding patterns and icons where there aren't actually any. In that experience you're having there, you're having something that is as big as the universe, and that for you as a human, it is a very, very authentic human feeling. That's cool. You'd be like, he went way too far with that. It's just a pretty picture with primary colors. It's also that. It's also that. Anyway, there we go. I think I want to get this little brush here and swap over here. I actually follow a page on Facebook, and it's thanks, Vernon. Trying to be serious. Hard to be as Elvis, but Elvis is a cool cat. I actually follow a page on Facebook. It's strangely addictive. It's called Things That Look Like Faces, and it's a whole bunch of just mundane things from everyday life that someone has seen a face in, whether it's a toaster or a scratch on the wall or a watermark, and someone's seen, you know, the face of the Savior, or just a little smiley face, or an angry face, or whatever. And that's basically, it's a whole page of pareidolia, and I love it. But that's where a lot of my work actually resides. Can you look at some quite arbitrary strokes? Can you look at some confusion and see facts? Because being able to do that doesn't just help with art, that helps with everything. That helps with life, that helps with love, that helps with career. Can you look at arbitrary information and see possibility? If you can do that, life's a happy, happy place. There we go. But the key to it too, we don't want to go too close to realism. And the more you work on a piece, the more dangerously close you actually get to creating facts in a work. We don't want the facts, we just want to have the fun. And if you can get a few facts in there, just let someone enjoy themselves while they look at it, that's great. But if you do too many, like I was saying, John Lennon's going to be staring down at you. It's going to be very hard to relax with a cup of coffee beside it. Looks a bit like John Lennon. That's good. That's good. A bit like John Lennon's what we're after. If it's too much like John Lennon, he'll just stare you down, and we don't want that. We want to be more chill. That video, I saw it on, there's these guys, they've broken into this guy's house or something. They're having a party there, and he's like, get off my lawn, get off my lawn. And then he's getting very angry, and one of the guys leans forward, he's like, Daddy, chill. It gets me every time, and the guy just like looks at him with disbelief for a moment, and then just gets even angrier. It's very funny, very funny. Obviously, his anger is not what's funny. It's just the scene. It's just the whole thing that's happening. That's yeah. Anyway, here we go. Now, I said before, guys, I'm not around the entire day today. We're just having a quick bit of fun with this ridiculous hatchet brush that I've created in the shed with my daughter this morning. And then once we're actually done here, I've got to help. I'm actually driving an hour away from here to go help set up a new seafood restaurant. Crazy world out there, crazy world. But I wanted to come on here and spend a bit of time with you guys, and I just could not help but to experiment with the hatchet brush. So that's where we got to there. Now, temptation here. If you're painting glasses, don't treat it like people do with a drunk friend on a couch where they draw. That's a bad example. Don't treat it like Jigglypuff on Ash Ketchum in Pokemon, where he does the big circular marks with a vivid and goes, look, glasses. Instead, you need to treat it by looking for the tones and shades, and glasses aren't just two big circles. So you can see here how with different little colors, those circles are appearing, but they haven't actually been drawn with one continuous line. Light doesn't work like that. You have to actually paint what you see, not what you want or think you see. Because when you think of a nose, you think, oh, two nostrils, two black dots for the nostrils, and then a nose comes up like a big, dribbling, long oval. It'll never work. It'll never work. You need to actually look for the shapes, look for the strokes, look for the moments, and let the nose actually emerge. The property of emergence will come through several brush strokes, all with the same intentions. Kind of like an ant colony all working together. Don't expect for a second that you can just suddenly make it happen because you demand a nose to come out. It's not how it works, it's not how the mouth works. Yeah. One thing we do pretty good on though, we can cheat. Not like that, naughty. We can cheat by actually zooming on the face. We can still get John Lennon's character, but guess what? No ears. I don't like ears. I'll paint them, but I feel like when you include the ears, what you get in the portrait is wasted space. We can capture Lennon with this amount of space. If we included this much to each side, first thing that happens, the value and cost of the artwork goes up by double because you're paying for 50% more on each side. And then, although you get the ear and the jawline, what else do you get? A big bunch of negative space out here and out here because the face is rounded. I don't think you need it. I think you can get everything in that contained shot. And if you can do that, every single part of it matters. It's significant, it's punchy, it's powerful. Now, let's get this. Imagine all the people living for today. Yee-hee-hee. Blah, blah, blah. Proper name, place, name, backstory stuff. Kinda. If you didn't like that yarn though, that's about as specific to art as we get. I'd be careful because after this, I just run off on some yarns about Kung Fu Panda and trading card games and Netflix. So if the yarn isn't good right now, I'm so sorry. It only gets worse. Yeah, so really embarrassing actually. I've got a masonite panel down for me to stand on, but these are some stones and they weren't too comfortable with my feet. I couldn't find my second jandal. So I scurried around for it. I'm like, oh, I'll just go live and put down a piece of wood so that way I'm not roasting my feet up. So that's a fun place to be. That's where we're at. Now I think we might actually do a little bit of a naughty thing. I'm gonna splice the, put down that, ooh, can I do that? Let me just get the blue off this one. Blue off this one. I don't think the red's gonna get on well with the blue here. Yeah, it's not. They're not gonna party well. They're gonna go to brown because it's not actually red. It's kind of like a Venetian? Vermilion? It's got too much paint on it, can't read it. Here we go. Jimmy, love the intensity, but we don't sell paintings on the live session here. This is all about the process. Hang out here, and everyone's welcome to be here and share in the process of the art being made. If you do like a particular piece, and this one here is not finished, you may hate this one when it's finished, but if you do like a particular piece, you can jump on my link in the bio, message me, and I can send you a picture or be in touch or let you know how it's going once it's finished. That's always a fun way to do it. But a lot of the time, sometimes people say, no, that's the one for me. That's all I want, that's the one. And sometimes you'll go through the process and they might think, actually, you know what? Love it, but let's do a personal piece. Here's a picture of my grandma. Here's a picture of me and my partner. Sometimes that's the most beautiful thing, guys. You'll have a photo that you're sitting on, and then to turn it into art, it kind of, especially if it's a low quality photo, the art actually creates something really special out of it. Faded photos, old photos, or photos typically taken on a phone are the best, because what you can do from there is the painting can actually add something new, add a new angle of thought, add something that maybe the camera in that moment didn't quite manage to capture. And that's special. That's special. Oh, you missed me? Oh, thank you very much. I'm glad I could be back here. And haven't seen you on TikTok for yes, you have. You may have not seen me, Zoe, but I've been around. I've been around. I swear I have. I've been trying to do about how much a day? Jeepers. Get myself twisted up now. I think I've been doing about an hour to 2 hours a day. Which is kind of a fun place to be. You can do more than that, but it's nice to let paintings dry. You know, if you do too much on them, it can't come into fruition. Guys, I like this. We've smashed it. This is a dream tool. This is the kind of tool I like to play with. If this was a normal brush, I'd be caught over and I'd have a hard time actually doing strokes. But with this thing here, and also being on a hammer handle, hold it like a hammer. It's nice and strong, and it's easy to do strokes. Today's been very, very productive on the invention side of things. So thanks for being here for that. This is a great thing. Now, there's a temptation at this stage of the picture to start making our man show up. We don't want that. Not just yet. We want to keep playing with him. Keep spotting little bits. Whenever a stone gets on my board, it gets a little bit uncomfortable. Already noticed that bit. That's a good sign. Lovely. Lovely. Guys, like I said, I've got to run off and help someone out soon, so I can't be around for too much longer. But the important thing is, we've had fun here. We've actually, in this wild little coat that we've done, we've got proof of concept. This brush, and watch this, I love this. You bring out this thing here. When you mix it, normally I'm doing these big strokes. This is just conserving so much energy. You're looking at the newest innovation in brush technology for artists. Very exciting. You have a great day too. Thanks for joining on in here. Appreciate you being here with me. And I'll see you next time. See you next time. Next time. Lovely. Alright. To finish off with, give me a big old dose. Big old dose of Tasty Blue. Yeah. When am I finished? It's a good question. Look, I've got a whole bunch of clever answers to that. One thing I used to say was, when you love what you've made more than you wish to see what it can become. These are all great answers. Honestly, no one really has any idea. It's a shot in the dark. Sometimes a piece won't look finished, and you don't have this moment of epiphany or epicness when you think it's finished. Sometimes you look at a piece and you'll hate it, and then you'll come back the next day or a month later or even a year later and you'll think, oh, that's everything, it's perfect, it's done. Some of my best pieces, I stopped because I'm like, nah, I'm done with you. I don't like where you're at. And then I come back, and not only are they perfect, they need no more paint on them. They're done and they're brilliant. And so sometimes the difference between perfect that's done and oh my God, I'm the worst artist ever, I hate everything I've ever made, don't look at me, I'm ashamed of this, I'm gonna go to a plumbing apprenticeship and never come back to art. The only separation between those two thoughts is a perspective you have as a viewer. And basically, what I'm saying there is if you are pursuing a creative pursuit, be kind to yourself, because those kind eyes are what you need to spot when you're on the right track. Some of my best work I've looked at with very, very harsh eyes, and it's done it no justice, and it's made my own life harder. So, obviously don't think everything you do is a masterpiece. It's not. It never will be. But actually have kind, accepting eyes to your own process. So when you do find something special, you're not just dismissing it because you're locked in your own dogma. It's a dangerous place to be. What's my sign? What's my sign? I'm a Capricorn. I am the goatfish, which I'm very proud of. I feel like the centaur with the bow, centaur? I feel like the horseman with the bow and the cool crab and the twins. There's a lot of cool ones out there. The lion, that's cool. I'm a goatfish, but that's okay. A lot to be liked about a goat. Let them on the driveway. They make great cheese. Goat fetta's quite common here in New Zealand. So you can thank Capricorns if you like feta. It's fair to say that goat feta is better than cow feta. There's not a star sign for cow, so we'll just take all the cheese in general. That can be a Capricorn thing. There's also not a sheep, so we're probably actually, as the goat, will take over farms. That's fair. We're starting to sound quite enterprising, actually. Yeah, there's actually a 13th star sign, which got cut from the calendar, but it actually goes through a constellation of, I think it's actually a scene rather than a creature. It's called Man Gets Bit by a Snake, I think. Anyway, the important thing there is I think there might be a 13th sign. The reason why I know that is I think my partner is the 13th sign. She's Shelby lands on that little gap where if we actually acknowledge that that was a star sign, it should be that sign. Kind of fun. Sorry guys, I'm an idiot. Wolf's just caught me out. You're 100% right. Tauros is a bull, which is a male cow. So Tauros would absolutely kill the dairy industry. That's fair. It's totally fair. Bad call on my part. Wasn't thinking. Apologies. I'm still going to keep all the feta, though, because Tauros is definitely a bull, and that bull shouldn't be helping make feta cheese. So you can have the whole farming industry, because that probably makes more sense for you to have it rather than the goat. I'll take the dairy industry. That's a fair trade. We won't step on each other's toes. We'll probably meet up at the same kind of meetings and things like that. But these great things in New Zealand called young farmers meetings, which are great. They're big events that usually happen in the local hall or pub, and we just talk about different things to do with farming in the area. Right, one last little stroke, and there, and then we'll let this piece dry. Guys, excuse me. Thanks for being here with me, you absolute bunch of champions. We're going to let this one dry now. We've had our fun with our big, meaty new brush. This has been an excellent, excellent device. This is, I'm not sure whether we're going to call it a Cooper brush, because I made it with my daughter, her name's Cooper, or whether we're going to call it a hatchet brush, because it looks like a hatchet. Or whether we call them just regular brushes, and we have one called the hatchet, one called the Cooper, and one called the Showman. I don't know. Anyway, I like it. It's a bit rough, but the prototype always is. Anyway, guys, look after yourselves, and wishing you all the best from this little sunny spot here at the NZ studio. Cheers, team. Until next time. Oh, last question. What age did I start painting? I was about 2 or 3, and I painted a beautiful little fish. And then probably the first time I really started connecting with art on a regular daily basis, I was about 5 or 6 when I was painting big glass panels. And now, I just love to make a mess. Alright guys, until next time, look out yourselves. This has been a really fun space. Cheers team.